as well. Okay, so we're live on Facebook. Amazing. So just bear with us for a second and just try and get the stream up on my feed so I can see your comments as we're live, and I'll record. There we go. So I can now see your comments as they appear. So thank you for bearing with us. We're a little bit late due to technical explorations, but better late than never. So thank you for joining us this evening. I am having the greatest pleasure to share space with these amazing women, and it just so happens that these are people who answered the call on this occasion, but we're going to be doing this again. And this is an invitation. Dreaming Dragons is a Raw Ascension stream, and it was really given as a way for us to come together to celebrate the diversity and all of the colour and all of the beauty that we are in our journey, because we're not all the same. We're very, very different beings. We have different parents, different lives, different perceptions, different bodies, and different experiences. And it's through sharing our presence and our experiences that we can represent the diversity of what we are. And it's so much stronger when we come together. This is what I've noticed in groups, is when we are together, it's so much stronger, and we emanate. When we're sharing through our language, through our expressions, there's so much more that's also being shared, not just individually, but as a group, beyond our bodies, beyond what you see here and the faces that you see. There is energy, and there is collective and consciousness. So sharing the Dreaming Dragons is very much about the collective consciousness that we're contacting. What is it? What is all this stuff about dragons? How did it come about? Is it just crazy childhood imagination, or does it have some tangible, real world impacts? And this is what we're going to explore in different areas of consciousness in Raw Ascension. So tonight it's about dragons, and I'd like to introduce Anna, Kristala, Sandra, Patrice, Madalena, Yona and Natalie, my beautiful sisters of light, to you. We're going to go around in a kind of a semi-alphabetical structure, just because it's easy to do, and share our journeys, our little journeys, and just briefly introduce you to what it's been like, what happened when these dragons came roaring along and erupted into our consciousness, or just pitter-pattered gently and sat on our shoulders. Like, what was it like, and how did it unfold? And then we also invite you guys to ask questions. So by all means, as we're going along, ask questions. What are you curious about? What is it you'd like to ask us as a group? And let's see what we vibrate and what unfolds, because when you're watching live and even on the replay, you're creating with us. It's a co-creation, it's a weaving, and this is what I call light alchemy. So today, right now, in this moment, we have very, very strong earth energies, very, very strong planetary energies, and everything's getting chucked up. Everything's getting chucked up. We are learning to be present. So we're co-creating this field together, and this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So please feel that you can contribute to as well. And we feel you and you feel us, and we feel each other, and we're already connected. So Anna, gorgeous Anna, I'd love to introduce you, and fire away, sweetheart.
Well, hello everyone. It's an honor to be in this group of amazing women. This journey, wow. So I had spontaneous Kundalini awakening this spring, so it's been a bit of a ride. And I think it was in August that I found Susanna's work through Water Codes, and it was just such an instant answer to what I've been looking for. So I'm a visual artist and have been for 15 years. And this whole time I've been kind of seeking frequency, ended up in a master's of art and science, exploring quantum physics in terms of spirituality, trying to kind of prove spirituality through science, which is didn't go down well with my professors. But I went my own way and kind of continued that path. And this need of explaining and using art to kind of further my understanding of what it means to be human and what it, like, how we connect to the world. And quantum physics, of course, tells us that everything is frequency and everything is a wave. So we've been kind of living in that world for many years. But doing the Dragonscape with Susanna really kind of put a lot of things into perspective for me. Working with these very specific frequencies of the dragons opened up so much for me that it was almost overwhelming, because it's also a frequency that is so, how to explain it? It's a very specific frequency, and it's very, very high and very intense. And it was even a bit hard on my body and nervous system. So I had to go a bit slow. And I still haven't like fully finished the whole Dragonscape, to be honest. It's like, I really have to be really prepared in my body and my nervous system to go there. But they come at me like nonetheless. Bless them. The dragons, they show up every now and then in meditation and come out through like language when I least expect it. But what gave me a lot was running this frequency through my body. Also called on a lot of shadow work that I had yet to finish, which was beautiful. Shadow work is grueling and intense, but it also gave me so many revelations. So somehow 6 years ago, I went to the forest looking for something. I had no idea what it was, but I knew it was some kind of song, or I was looking for music, but I was just led by intuition the whole way. And in this shadow work for the past few months, it all kind of like all the footage that I gathered in the forest came into a cohesive whole. All of a sudden, like, whoa, I was being spoken to by nature the whole time. So I've had to finish a 6-year-old art project. I'm still working on it, but it's kind of like captured all of my creativity for the past few months. And the revelations have been coming even more one by one, and it's been such a beautiful process. I need to find this project a correct avenue. Since I'm a professional artist, this means everything to me. And I'm going to write a book to go with it. But I would love to show a short trailer to my short film that is really, yeah, it's a glimpse to this journey. But I find that this sharing of this short film and the book it could be like a beautiful way shower for humanity right now, of like how to transmute and how to learn how to see things in a new way, and like, yeah, listen to nature and connect. Let's see if I can get this trailer up and running. Oh, so yeah. I hope you got the text. I decided to just have a text instead of me speaking, but it's gonna be something. It feels very, very big. It's like the biggest project of my whole career, and something I've been working towards for so long. But having this awakening kind of also gave me everything that I've been looking for, which has been such a beautiful journey. And especially the light language, it really, I've been looking for it for so long. And I mentioned in so many of my artwork, looking for a magical language. Like, yeah, it's so good to finally find it and feel into it. And it's been such a beautiful journey. But before the Dragonscape, I kind of was also stepping into all these concepts of the divine feminine, and I've been growing so much, learning how to stop hiding and become. I'm going to show you some pictures of my rebirth. So I went into nature, and I used to be a glacier guide. So I would go take people to ice cave twice a week, and it was the most beautiful job in the whole wide world. And I live in Iceland, so the nature here, of course, is just dragons all over. So I went to my favorite glacier and I took some pictures. So it's kind of this spirit river body. And in the Dragonscape, actually, I woke up one day and it felt like my whole body was just a grid. And it was just this kind of spirit flowing in a grid of a body. But yeah, here she's up, embracing the dragons of nature and embracing the dragon inside. Thank you for listening. Thank you for everything.
So beautiful, Anna. So beautiful. Like I've got tears coming out my eyes. I was crying before this started. Now I just said I'm going to spend an hour and a half crying, and it's okay because it's complete reverence for the surrender of the energy. And it's so deeply healing to start and begin with someone who's so intimately connected with the planet, the planetary body, and to show it in such a deeply simple way. The simple way, the simplicity of, we're all here, or everyone in this group is creative in their own way. And it's touching straight away on that thing that I feel is fundamental to everything I do and I am, which is authentic expression and creation, the creation of how Source, God, Mother, whatever label we give the spirit of the universal force of love to gift into us, it opened with a bang, because it isn't all pretty and fluffy and fairy-like and sitting in a high tower, being disjointed from the body. It's guttural, it breaks you open again and again and again. It's strong, it's physical, it's detoxifying. It shows you all of your cracks. That's what dragon energy does. It shows you where you are distorted. It gives you the greatest gift of life, because up until this point we've been dead to ourselves, living in loads and loads of programs, and we don't even know. And that's it. You're showing there's such a fragility in that, Anna, and I just want to say thank you for having the courage to come and just plant it here and say, I am a creator. I am that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's been...
And come on, we'll have a much more involved chat.
Yes.
On more Ascension. I'd love to explore a lot more deeply about I feel it so deeply, that connection between the quantum space and this. When you were drumming on that wood, oh my God, my heart exploded. It just exploded.
Yeah, but then it's freaking out in the forest. That's like...
I'd like to have that conversation with you.
That's raunchy, I tell you.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. And there's so many lovely comments as well, people sharing as well. And you please do, because some of the people here are sharing now. There's a lot of inner courage being shown today to come forward and share as well. So really help the space as well, because it could be you sitting here doing this as well. And you're very welcome. So Kristalla, oh my God, this beautiful, beautiful human being. You're also gorgeous. Kristalla has such an intimate relationship with dragons. So I'm going to hand over the space and a little dragon stick to you, my love.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I am so nervous and so excited to be here. When I saw the invites, Seraph, my Andromedan dragon, swirled around when he was like, yes. So I instantly said yes. And then I went, oh, shit, because I don't do much public speaking, but here I am. And I'm super excited to share about dragons. For me, dragons have just become everything, really. I feel they've always been in my space, but kind of ignored. I've done a lot of shamanic work, and in most journeys there would be a dragon, but I would be paying attention to the giraffes and everything else. And the dragons just felt so familiar that it wasn't something that really drew my attention. It's quite odd. And on one particular journey, I specifically wanted to connect with my totem animal. And I had Drago going off there, completely ignoring him, watching all the other animals and going, well, where's my spirit animal in this journey? Until poor Drago had to blast fire, and I had to look at the reflection in the river and see, well, there's actually a dragon really putting up such a performance that I was ignoring. After that, I started working quite intimately with Drago for my own healing, a lot of journey work, a lot of shadow work. I did a journey to the Akashic Records, and last year, that's when Dragon Consciousness came up for me, to anchor Dragon Consciousness and reawaken the ancient magic and remind people of the ancient magic. And that's when I actually found Suzanne, because I was like, what on earth is Dragon Consciousness? And when I searched Dragon Consciousness, Suzanne's work came up. I think you had just released the first Dragonscape. And from then, everything just started expanding. For me, there were dragons everywhere, a few randoms, a few that stuck around. This year in March, I remember we had started our lockdown. And there was one evening where our president was on the TV, and I just felt so heavy and so broken. And so I still owned a Montessori school at the time. So I was just wrapped up in all the stress of what to do. And I just went and I sat outside on the lawn and just curled up on the earth, have my little cry and my little meltdown. And that's the first time Seraph came through. He was this huge, really the biggest dragon I've seen, huge black with this turquoise blue lightning moving through him and this turquoise air coming out of him. And he just started speaking, and he said a whole lot, but the main thing was the light will prevail, the light will prevail. And he's been with me right by my side ever since. He's brought through dragon invocations for me. He's helped me to connect deeply with the elemental dragons. We do dragon workshops now where he just downloads everything as it unfolds. My fear of speaking, even though it's still there, it's okay, because the dragon work needs to be done. I mean, there's no other option, no other choice. Now, when I get invitations to things where I'd normally go, oh no, we can't do that, he flares up with a yes, we are, and off we go. I mean, just a week and a half ago, I spent 8 days in Mpumalanga. And again, the invite came through and he was like, we are so going. And we did. And I'm so glad I did, because standing in these sacred sites in South Africa, I feel that everything just expanded. I mean, Seraph has just come through so strongly. All my dragonness has just opened up. I've seen my tribe, the dragon keepers. I only did 5th session of Dragonscape Evolution today. I've been taking it slow as well. And I didn't even feel bad about it. That's a new thing, going with the flow. I don't normally, I bulldoze, I take over, I force things to work. And it just, the timing wasn't right. And it's just perfect, because at the end of session 5, I think it's Caroline speaking about the dragon keepers, and I was going, whoa, I saw them at Adam's calendar, the tribe, you know. And just the way it all unfolds, it's just, it feels like, for me, it feels like home. It's magic, it's beautiful, it has to be shared. I mean, holding space for people to work with the elemental dragons, even for their own healing, for me, that's what it's all about. It's all that matters now. It really is. Nothing else really calls me other than the dragon work. Even the healing sessions that I do, the dragons come through and take over. And I tell people straight, you know, you can book for any modality, but if the dragons are going to come through, we're going to be playing with the dragons, and I'm just going to be holding space, and whatever happens, happens. Thankfully, they all seem to be fine with that. Yeah, don't know what more to share other than it's been a lot of unfolding, a lot of expansion. This year has been a lot of triggers, shadow work, lots of layers coming off, learning to take it slow. And Saraf keeps telling me, just look, just look. Whenever I search for all the answers, and I'm a control freak, well, I was, and I would need to know what's going to happen next with everything. And he keeps just going, just look, come back and just look. He's really become one of my greatest guides. He's taken me on insane journeys, absolutely insane journeys. Fear of the dark used to be a theme for me ever since I was a child. I used to pull the blankies over me and be like, I don't want to see, I don't want to see. I am very visual. I've become more visual with the dragon work. And yeah, just working with them and going into those spaces and seeing that it's all okay and it's all part of who we are. It's just been amazing. It really has. My own fears have settled. I'm not afraid of the dark anymore. I welcome it. Yeah, it's just been a lot of magic, really. And the most magic for me is seeing how it affects other people, how they grow and they expand and they share their experiences, and they're excited when they share what they've seen with the dragons. It really is amazing. Yeah. I don't have much more to share.
That's so lovely, Christella. Thank you for having the courage
Thank you.
to come
Thank
on,
you.
because I know, you know, we really don't talk about it now. It's been such a deep journey and a profound shift in your life path, hasn't it? It's been a complete change of direction and such a beautiful unfolding to witness. And I've just written down 4 things here that maybe we might like to explore, and the people watching might like to explore as well, or have questions around. And it is like the fears, because one of the things that the dragons, I guess, do, because we as you share, I'm sure will unfold that, you know, dragons come in like just about every shape, size possible, configuration that we can possibly, you know, create literally in our amazing brain capacity for creation. They seem to be able to create, but we do have personal dragons, and you have a very intimate relationship with your dragon. Would that be right to say? It's a very, very close relationship, and I have a close relationship too, so I really understand with Aya that how that can be. It's very much a life-changing situation, and the surrender, like you say in sessions, it's like we've always kind of operated from that place of I, haven't we? It's like I'm the centre now, and this is all my knowledge and my superb training and all the things that I think I know, and here I am. And then spirit, in whatever form, and in this case dragon, just comes along and literally like rips the rug from your feet and says, actually, you don't know anything. And here actually might be a potential for something new if you can, like you said, slow down. If we can slow down, and that is beautiful. It's a beautiful share of such deep wisdom coming through. It feels like it's just flowing out, like nothing I need to add. It's beautiful. Thank you so very, very much. And I do hope you will come on and find some more words.
Thank you.
Deep blessings. And if you do have questions for any of these amazing beings, we're going to open to questions at the end as well, if they feel comfortable, and we can pick things up as a collective. So the fears is a big one, and we'll come on to that a bit later. But now we're going to move on to, I'm getting it right now, Madalena! My beautiful sister Madalena, who you might have seen in Light Language Lounge. Amazing, beautiful, creative being, and I think she's going to really blow our socks off. So I'll hand a little dragon stick to you, beloved sister.
Thank you, Suzanne. Whew. it's so much fun every time we gather. Like they are like ecstatically celebrating in infinite bliss every time we gather as humans in whatever form it is. And for me, I never thought about dragons ever in my life until one day I just saw them physically with my eyes. And I saw many of them with different colors and sizes and textures. And from that day on, my life completely shifted, and the dragons kind of became this central energy with everything in my life. They are always there. So it was so funny, Suzanne. In the beginning of the call, I just realized that you have the dreaming dragons and I birthed the birthing dragons. And I just started crying because it's so beautiful to see the co-creation that just happens. It just happens. And we are just here and it just comes and we just experience it and enjoy it. And it's like, it's so beautiful because it's like, it feels like it's not ours, it's beyond us, you know, and at the same time it is us, you know. So it's this beautiful multidimensionality that is just so beautiful. And they are laughing like every time I need to be somewhere, whether my human wants it or not, whether my human feels super triggered or not, my dragons always get me there. And today was another example of that. And the meditation, the journey that we did some days ago also with Suzanne, I was so triggered to like meditate for like 6 hours. My human was super triggered, and dragons just were just laughing and having such an amazing time. And they always get me where I need to be. So with all of this came infinite creativity, infinite love, infinite clarity, infinite traveling through dimensions and through places and inside myself. Infinite clarity on shadow, on what we perceive to be shadow, on all of these things. Like, it's just so beautiful in our human lives to integrate that. It's such a beautiful integration. And for me, like, nothing can ever be described in my, what I feel is that nothing can be described using words, or at least this kind of language. So this is where light language comes from, and movement and sound and just energy and telepathy and all of these things. So it's this expansion of just infinite creativity, infinite creation, infinite worlds to travel and experience and enjoy within and without. And the awareness that the without is within and the within is without. And seeing the mirrors in all of us. It's so beautiful. And yeah, they want me to talk about the fears. So when we come up to share whatever it is, sometimes our humans feel triggered. They want to hide or run or whatever it is, all the stories that come. And the dragons, you know, though, in the movies where they would tell you that you have to slay the dragon. It's so funny because it's like not slaying any dragons, like obviously from one perspective, but we can experience as humans the biggest fears where we feel completely paralyzed, or like, I have no idea how I'm going to go through this. And the dragon energy, it's, you can see your fear and you can be there and you can feel it fully, but you can also move through it, always, always. And it's this infinite rebirth and this infinite alchemy of perception, of consciousness, that is just ever unfolding in our lives, in our individual lives. So there's a lot of work with the fears and the triggers and the shadow and all the things that we don't want to see, we don't want to look at. The dragons help us move through it. So they're here for us, for our human life and all the human triggers and things. But then we see all of these other aspects of the co-creation that we are doing and the grid work that we do. And sometimes we're just moving and we don't know, because there's no need for me to know what this is. I don't need to know what this is. If it's coming, I just allow it. And there are other times where we do know exactly what we are doing, you know? And it's this surrendering to what we think we know and surrendering to what we don't know. And it's infinite surrendering to what is. So we move through the triggers and we move through the challenges. And we always find this silence where all the music comes from. This peace and this love that is beyond everything. And at the same time, it is everything. So it's this play. Dragons are super playful, even when we have very serious work to do. They are always playful and light about it, you know? It's beyond words. Everything is beyond words. For me, that's one of the most challenging things for me as a human, is to translate what I know cannot be translated. And this is what we are all doing all the time. We keep translating what cannot be translated. It can only be experienced. So we share like our experiences. But even if I'm just here and I don't speak, you can feel me and you can have your own experience through my experience without the language. So beautiful, and so, so, so beautiful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So in hati turu tu kortash tarut in kashkain tu kortu ish ate tu into she turk in the crash. You could ush ish in the cash. We're so deeply afraid of our soul expression, of our playfulness, of all of the flames and the colors and our crazy imagination and expression. Anna hitting the wood in the forest, Madalena doing what she does, and all these wonderful codes. We've been so suppressed. We've been stuck in a little tin, like a little tin. And we believe that we were so small. And that is, for me, the joy of that expression there, that fluidity. It was just bringing that out and saying, yes, okay, here are the fears. Fear of the dark, fear of fire, fear of judgment, fear of everything, pretty much everything. Fear of being alive. And then the dragon energy, it cradles us. It cradles us. You know, one of the most gentle experiences I have was being picked up by my dragon, Aya. She picked me up. And it was so very gentle, because I was terrified. I was really afraid when it first came. They were so big, these dragons, and so powerful. And even when they breathed on me, I would be like cowering still, because I had so much fear in my bones, physically, in my body, through life experience. So that's what they do. They come along, and then, yes, they'll kick your ass. Yes, they'll get you where you need to be. Yes, they'll show you where your distortions are, and then they'll laugh at you and kiss you and inspire the child in you to rekindle and to walk into that. The way you shared it was so beautiful. It's just that everything, we're so hell-bent on trying to explain our experiences, but really just sharing them's enough, and it's beautiful. And I thank you wholly from my soul to yours, Magdalena, for coming and sharing with us right now. And I'd love to chat to you about your codes and the birthing dragons. It's very beautiful. Thank you. All the code, this code that you can see behind Magdalena, she writes beautiful, really, really beautiful codes. Very, very powerful. We're going to have some more codes. We've got time for them to share them later. So I'm going to move on to Natalie. And welcome our beautiful sister.
Hello. Where to start? Dragons, I think they've known me longer than I've known them. They've always been around, but I sort of, no. But a lot of people were saying, you've seen all those dragons in Dreamtime, you're surrounded. No, I see nothing. So why I signed up for Dragonscape, sorry. Well, you know, a girl needs a dragon at some point, I guess. And that was a revelation, that was magnificent, that was raw, hard, sore, because they didn't tiptoe, they just landed. It's like if somebody, like imagine a dragon, a house, something that sits on you or next to you, you just go, whoa. and it's, you can't ignore it anymore. It's just, if you try, they sort of go, hey, I'm here. Can you see me? No? Yes, you can. And what I remember from, the little I remember from those sessions was them drumming in my heart to get the creation out, to get the fear out. So the creation, so to get the fear out, so the creation could come in. And they opened my heart little by little until one day they just said, oh, buzz off, just open it. And it was that session where we were doing it standing or something. I can't remember. I just remember big standing, and it was just, it was like a black hole had opened. A black hole open, and that was the dragons there that just pulling, come on, get out, get that out, because you've got other things to see behind all that. It was actually, there was nothing to put in, it was just getting out the black stuff, gooey thing. So the nice stuff was there, and they're constantly there, they're constantly here, and I don't have a name for them, I don't see them, but God, do I feel them? They just, yeah. Somebody said to me not that long ago, you've got a fierce white dragon. We can't do anything to you. As soon as somebody just wants to do something, it's just there in front of you, don't touch them. I said, yeah, well, you know, it's quite cool, and it's, to me, it's nice and fluffy, but apparently it's not. But it's just the creativity that they bring, and the anchoring. That's it for me. That's the anchoring. I feel. What do I feel? I don't know. I feel one with them, and I feel not one with them. It's that state I'm in at the moment, of being and not being, and being with them and not with them, but in them and not in them, because I'm them and they're me, and that stuff where there's no words that can make sense. But when they have a message to pass on, I can't, I mean, they sit me down. They just sit me down, and I get the pen, the whatever comes, and the message has to come out, and they're beautiful and they're magnificent, and they're strong-headed, a bit like me. And I thought it's kind of hard to explain. And yes, they've taken away nothing. No, that's not true. They speak a lot. They speak a lot. Even if you don't want to hear, they're there until you just say, okay, I'm listening now. And yes, I'm not afraid. I can't remember who said not afraid of the dark. I'm not afraid of the dark either. I live in a magnificent place, but there's nothing around, and I could not get out past 9 o'clock in the dark before. I was terrified of what, I have no idea, but I was terrified, and they've helped me loads, knowing I've got not just the one dragon, but an army of dragons around me. I mean, come on, take me on, guys, how dare you. It's just like, no, you're not going to get through. So go on. It's just finding something that you never knew was missing in your life, but then suddenly there's that presence, that kindness, their playfulness, like there's no tomorrow, their love of us here and of us as somewhere else, and the love they bring with the strength and the softness, somehow, somewhere, the softness. They have never left from that day, and I think they were always there. The moment you open your heart to them, it's difficult not to feel them anymore after that. It's difficult to close the door. You can't close the door to such magnificence, to such playful, creative kid, but warrior as well. And it's a fabulous whole package. And everybody's got one somewhere, somehow. Just find it. The best thing I can say, just allow your dragons to come through. You'll find bits of you never knew were there. Even if you, I thought I was quite childish. Well, yeah, no, there is more childish than me, and it's called a dragon. They just want to play. They just want us to be. They just want us to just be, because that is what we have come to do. Be, truly be. So I'll share. I don't know if I share now. If I share, yeah, I will share now. I will share. So we have rehearsed the sharing. I am not going to fold. So can you see it? Yeah. We did.
Natalie, would you like to share how long you've been creating these coats?
I don't know, when was Dragonscape? This year.
Not very long ago.
It's this year. Well, so because of the one I wanted to, I don't know if you remember that one. Can you see that one?
Yeah, we've got it on the screen.
The blue one. That's one of the first few ones that I did by hand during Dragonscape, and it wasn't the very first one. I think it was on the second or third deck, I remember, or session. And I can't draw. I can't draw to save my life. Well, that came up, but we were doing water, and so it's I think it's less than 6 months anyway, and that one
September, I think.
Probably.
So it's actually 3 months.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, this one came in last week, the week before. I've got no sense of time. I'm sorry. At all. I live in right now. It was strong, and I wasn't going to draw a dragon. The energy I was receiving was just curves. I was going to do curves, and they had to be golden. And there was a little voice that said, duplicate and turn around, you'll see magic happening. So I duplicated and turned around. And that dragon appeared, and it was just like, wow, did he have a lot to say? That was wonderful. And the one that, yeah, is I can't tell you what he wants to say. That's for you to find out. It's just, but yeah, it's there. And that one came in between yesterday and today. Again, that one is the within without. It's everything is inside and outside, and we are inside outside. We are that's how I received it. And yeah, but oh no, this one's not.
The code that you shared, the 2 codes that you shared, have you got that one? Just share it again.
Which one?
I think you just kept the first code up before. It was just the golden and the blue one. It didn't change. Maybe you wanted to change the picture.
I don't know how to. Hang on.
It's okay. This is our beloved learning of our technical creative sharing.
Oh, I see why. There you go. That's the one that came today. No, it's not coming. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Well, we've got time as well, so don't worry. If there's more for you to share, we can share it. Because Madeleine's probably got some codes as well.
It keeps stopping on its own. I don't know why. Oh, it's coming back. That's the one that came in between yesterday and today, and that was strong because it had to be ready. And that's the within without. It's the galaxy is inside outside, and yeah, they come in. Not all dragons are the same. That's one thing as well. Not all dragons are the same. They have really various shapes and forms, and yeah, I really recommend connecting with your dragon, everybody, all your dragons, and enjoy. Love you all.
It's really, really beautiful. I keep crying. I just can't stop crying because it's just a gift, isn't it? Really, that we're giving ourselves. We gave it to ourselves. There's nothing that any of us actually really do. I guess it's just not what we actually. I don't see it's anything I do. It's what I am. It's what I try and choose to be open. I don't always hit the mark. I can deviate just like anybody else. I'm human. The dragon consciousness for me is such a wide representation of something that's very pure. It's only our humanity that will make it impure, as with anything, with any collective, with any consciousness. It's just us that makes it impure and deviates. And I think the beauty of the dragons is it comes in such a playful way. And so when we have Christ consciousness, you know what that's like. It just completely obliterates you. It completely obliterates you. But here there's something tangible it's almost easier because there's a creation. There is something we can feel and contact and have a conversation with, and it hasn't been as maybe distorted as some of the other frequency ranges, so there's less story attached to it. Maybe that's easier. It's easier, you know, to find the creativity to, you know, when the dragons change shape because they're shapeshifters, we just accept it. We don't sit there and go, well, how did you actually do that? We don't even question it because it just seems to vibrate inside. And it's lovely when you share this. And I think for me, for you, and for many of the people, I mean, there's so many people in Dragonscape, but these are just a few people, and not just this, it's just about the whole collective, is when you're touched and that bung goes out of your heart, we hold on to that play. I think my very first spiritual teacher was David Ashworth, and he had a name for this. I can't remember what it was, but it was like a bung. We would call it like the bung or the well. And I thought I was clearing it, but I wasn't even anywhere near clearing it. I was still somewhere in the very beginning of it. But when that bung really started to go, it was the dragons that started to do it, because it was so consistent, thoroughly consistent, and never stopped. It never wavered, no matter how much I kicked and screamed against it, and just made excuses. They would just keep showing up because the way they seem to view humanity for me is with such utter purity of love and compassion. We haven't yet learned to have that level of love and compassion for ourselves. So perhaps, possibly, this is a creation to help us find that, to find humility, to find the connection again with the earth, with the elements, and do it in such a creative way. And you've just erupted with creativity. You were walking advertisement for heart resonance, for what it does when we unleash and don't hold on to what we're creating. We're not trying to make it anything. It just is whatever it is. And it might be something to me, and it might be something to Madeleine, it might be something to Yona, and it's beautiful in its own right, just as it is, as you are, as I am, as we all are. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn into such a tear bucket today. I don't care. So I can't do the alphabet now. What are we on? Is it Patris? Is that right? Patris, sweetheart.
I think so, yes.
So this is my beloved sister Patris. First met her in Manchester when I was actually quite early on in my crazy galactic journey, and she's been a part of my life ever since, and it's really lovely that she's here today to share. So take it away, beautiful lady.
And I'm so happy to be with all of you today, and I think it's a great idea to have this meeting. And so for me, the dragons, I think there has been always around me, but I was never really fully aware of them. And only 10 years ago, I started to be inspired to write things about dragons, like stories and all. And well, 10 years ago I started, and then I stopped, and in 2014 I finally wrote a Star Trek fan fiction, actually, with dragons inside. And this story, for me, it was like onion story, because what I had, written other kind of theatrical plays and poetry and all kind of things. But it was different, because when I was writing it, or when I was kind of imagining it, it was really like me going through my day, but not being there, really being into my story, like I was in a different dimension. And this sensation really was like something I'd never experienced before. And thanks to this story, my life really changed. I started writing music in Vulcan, which was, I think, the first step toward light language. It helped me in my personal life, and due to that, I came here and I met Susan and all, all beautiful people around here. So the dragons, I think I really channeled the story now with the knowledge I have now. I think I channeled this story from the dragons, and it was really like their way to guide me into something very important into my life. And 3 years ago, I met my own dragon, and then from that, I started really to work with the dragons, especially this year. I would say since the first Dragonscape, but also this year I feel that they are so important, because they have this power of transmutation with the fire, and this is so important, this when the year that is finishing and the future years, to really transmute all the negative energies and lower frequencies into something beautiful for the new earth. And I'm feeling also very much connected with nature, thanks to the elemental dragons, the water, the earth dragons, the air dragons, and it's so it's so amazing. And recently, well, since this this beautiful session about creativity and Dragonscape evolution, I actually started to draw codes in a way that were a bit more kind of, I would not say satisfactory, but that looks really like something I want to show, and that means something, because I can't draw at all. I'm terrible. But during this session, I drew 2 codes, and when I was looking at them and channeling light language transmission, I started to see dragons in the codes. And today, well, yesterday evening, another code came, and now I'm also playing with photo editing and digital art, and it's incredible because all that creativity is coming, and it's just amazing. I'm very, very attracted to digital arts, music, and visual arts, and I really think it's very important, because it helps, to me at least, it kind of helps bringing all these incredible journeys we're having, and the 5th dimensions, and what the dragons might show us, into something other people can actually experience, whether it is a sound or a drawing or something of art. And it's something that is not touching only the mind, it's touching much more deeper. And I think that's, Bandalena also talked about the difficulty of translating into words, and that I feel so much too, because from the dragons and from other beings, also galactic beings, angels, I receive so much love, so much frequencies, and that really can't be translated into words. And it can be in light language, but in English or any other languages of Earth, we can't. So I believe art is so important to convey knowledge, healing, and joy, because that's this playfulness, the playfulness of the dragons, and it's so important too. Because right now humankind is like into the chaos and into the pain, and it's very important. And the dragons very often invite me to say, well, you need to be playful, you need to be like a child, and not taking things too seriously. Even the idea of, I need to show the way to people, because it's also very sad for me to see many of my friends that are so down. And I try, to explain and to share the experience, but many of them are not ready. And at times it makes me feel really, I would not say low, but really sad. And the dragons way, well, you need to be playful, because things will happen in their own time. And it's so much of a support for me. It's incredible, and it's growing, and it's I'm really, it makes me so happy and thankful, and also to be with all of you today. And so, Susan, if you could share the video I made. Thank you. And well, yeah, I think that's what I wanted to share. Yeah, now my projects are really, I believe what I would like to do is convey this higher frequency, through art and through channeling and any other way I can find to help people and share all this beauty and creativity. Oh, thank you very much. Just lastly, a small blessing in light language that my dragon has been increasingly saying, oh, you need to do that. So, Arin asarim asurumat satinya naturum ashiturum daikanim ai. Thank you.
Patris, thank you, sweetheart. Very, very beautiful. I hope I didn't mess up the sound on that video. I'll edit it in when it goes on YouTube if it didn't quite work out. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's so raw. Oh, it's so from the heart. This is it. And there's so much there that's underneath. And thank you. We can feel it. We can feel it now, can't we? And that is the beauty of it. Do you want to speak? Just unmute. Just speak, yeah. Sweet. Yeah.
I was just wanted to say, as soon as you opened your mouth to speak light language, as soon as you opened it, I burped, but it was like a very light burp. Like it was the lightest burp I've ever burped. I don't know how to explain this, but it was Thank you. It was just, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Sandra. Lovely, lovely Sandra. Please open your hearts for this incredibly beautiful being.
Okay, well, can you hear me? Yes. Okay, so my dragon journey, or how can I say, my first perception of dragon, or the first image I had, was when I was a child. It was all the fairy tales, the distorted image of the dragon, sort of like slaying people, burning people, kidnapping the princess and all. And then when I was older and I started traveling, I was an adult, I just felt drawn to dragons. I collected dragons, bought like dragons in China or Japan or where I could come across. So I think that now in retrospect, the dragons were with me somehow. I don't really know how, but they were present because I felt drawn to them. Then I came across you, Suzanne, via Todd's, because I've been listening to Todd's zoology shows for like 1 year or something. And then I said, oh, she's interesting. And then I started following you on Facebook. And this is how I got in touch with you and the Dragonscape group. And via the Dragonscape group, also like Anna said, I haven't done all of them yet. It's a little bit difficult to combine with my life, 3D life. But I've come in contact with my first dragon, and it came out from the void. Totally dark, an abyss, but I've never been afraid of darkness. So for me, it just was like so inspiring. I just fell in awe of this dragon. And I've developed with this dragon along for a couple of months now. I feel more creative. I've shed some of my layers and purged a little bit. I feel more free. Mostly I feel the dragon and also other dragons which I see in the elements in nature, because I'm in nature a lot, and most of my pictures on my Facebook are about nature because I'm a lot of nature. So I really feel those energies, especially like, well, the dragons, they have created the dragon lines after all. So every time you're nature, you're grounding your energies and you feel them via the lines at the grid. And they are absolutely beautiful. And I feel the dragons are also amazing because they make you feel creative, empowered. You don't feel the fear of not being worthy anymore, because I struggle with that a little bit. I don't feel shame of myself, of showing myself, but for me it's been like tonight, for instance, am I worthy to participate? Because I'm really grateful to be here with all of you, lovely souls. And I think my dragon played me a trick because I didn't realize this was live in the group, and I just got in there. And I think this is a test for me, a trial to come out with whatever I've created. And I can definitely resonate with Natalie and others that, well, I'm shit at drawing, really. Yes, but I've created mostly poetry. So I've always like written poetry. So I've done that a lot. But for today's or tonight's evening's session, I thought that I'm just gonna try my best and be creative. And I drew a dragon. I tried to depict the dragon I saw in my dream with the Arcturians, which I talked about last time. I think I was in a session with a group. Because I feel the dragon mostly. I do not speak light language, not just yet. I feel it like vibrating when I listen to it. So it feels like just amazing and empowering and so forth. But for me, it's most like the feeling that I feel the dragons when they are with me. And I've also dreamt a beautiful dream where I had a dragon coming out after I was visited by Arcturians coming out of a cloud, and I tried to depict that dragon today. Yes, and I think I sent you the picture. I could not share the screen. Yeah, so you can share that if you want. Yes.
Do you want me to keep going?
Yes. So this is one of my dragons, or the first dragon actually that I had, and I just saw it in a dream, well, in my dream anyway, and this is the first time that actually I dreamt of my dragon, and I just felt the urge to share this image. This was at dawn, and it came in like really strongly for me, and I just felt so liberated somehow. Yes, totally like released, like releasing fear and releasing everything. It was like a totally different dimension. It was absolutely fabulous, and I really wanted to stay in that dream. Yes. So this is what dragons make for you. They make you create. They give you the courage to come out of the closet in many ways. They empower you. They nurture you as well with their energies. The energies are quite strong. Yes. And also another creation I've done today was the first time I've ever done a mandala with this app. I just downloaded and I've never used it. And I just started like clicking on the buttons and the colors. And this is basically what I got. And well, I just got these energies which remind me a little bit of like moon goddesses and blue cows and water. Because also I feel that the dragons have balanced me a little bit. I have a lot of fire elements, and I felt like very, very masculine in myself, but also the dragons have helped me release that and release my inner child again. And now I feel like more balanced, and maybe that's why I also started connected more with water dragons. So I start feeling that water dragons a little bit more. Yes. And their horns, they are just, I love their horns. You can just grab them and go for a ride. Yes. So thank you very much for sharing space, and love to you all. Oh, and there is another one part of the mandala. Yes, like a solar flash. And for me, it was like the blooming. You're blooming, you're growing with your dragons. Everybody's growing, yes. Releasing and growing and spreading out the truth. Yes, like the sun rays beaming onto you all. Yes, well, that's
Thank you. I want to just keep on this drawing and say, without embarrassing you, I hope, just say, and Natalie, and because you girls, you speaking for so many people, and I know, because I've got the same story, because my creativity was really stifled. It was shut down underneath my heart, and all the programming and the trauma and stuff. And when it started to come out, it came so quick. It came unbelievably quick. I was literally told to buy an iPad, and then it just started out of nowhere. And I was obviously creative. I went to university, did three-dimensional design, but it never was like this. It was always underneath the veil. It was always stifled. It was always hidden, and I was always secretly ashamed of the enormous amount of creativity that was in my soul. I was afraid, and I think we make excuses and say we can't make music and we can't draw and we're shit at this and that. But we're not. We're just learning to be like that again. We've got our whole lives ahead of us in creativity. I always thought I had no rhythm, but drumming with my dragons is getting my rhythm back. It's funny because I think I can actually start to drum now, and I never thought I'd be able to do that. So you are beautiful, your creations, and I see this in Keepers of the Codes. People put, if you showed it on to people who weren't really able to sense yet, it would just look like a scribble on a piece of paper. But when I tune into that little scribble, that humble little thing that you think isn't a creation, my whole body responds, and there's something else that's happening. there's other things that are happening. So visually, we're judging ourselves very harshly, or when we speak, we're saying this tone isn't right, or this is slightly out of key, or I muddled up my words and they sound silly, or this strange noise my cheeks want to make when they vibrate is embarrassing. But really, that's the gold. That's the gold that we really are. And I think you're really inspiring. And thank you for coming on and just having the courage to find your voice today. I hope it's not the last time we hear your voice and feel your creation, Sandra. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Suzanne, and everyone. Yeah.
So, wow, God, it's just been amazing today. So, Yona, she has been so patiently waiting. And I am so, Goddess Yona, thank you for being on with us today.
Thank you for having me. You all are so amazing. I wish that you could see what I see in you. It's just wonderful to hear all of you and be here. Thank you. I was introduced to dragons and Dragonscape with Suzanne. I had no idea what I was getting into. I was just one of those things where like, oh, I had to do that. You know, I had to do that, and I was drawn into it. And then we had these wonderful guided meditations, which introduced me to my first dragon. And it was a beautiful experience because it kind of broke my heart open. The energy of a dragon for me was such unconditional love, was that I hadn't felt before. I hadn't felt that level or that experience of unconditional love, and it broke open my heart during, I don't know what meditation it was, but it was during those series of the Dragonscape, and that safety that I felt, again, that I hadn't experienced before, that deep connection and that safety really allowed me to just feel into my heart, and experience myself on such a deeper level, because that it was like womb, mother love womb kind of experience, that I could just lean into. I felt like I was just leaning against her, and just her presence, pushing against me, gave me a sensation of being encompassed by unconditional love. And that then allowed me just to relax and allow my heart to open up and experience so much more of, I'm going to cry, so much more of who I am and what I'm capable as a human being to experience in my body. I'd experienced a lot of suffering and pain for years, and so now to experience love and joy is a miracle for me. So that was how I was introduced, was during the guided meditations. And also, I realized that dragons are very humorous. My dragon, at least, was like very always making fun of me and doing silly things, like out of the corner of my eye, doing like silly antics, which is wonderful for me because I tend to be in my head a lot. And it immediately took me out of my thinking about things and put me back into my body and allowed me to have like a sense of humor about things. And that combination for me of being, lighthearted and feeling safe, I think was the stepping stone for me that I needed to go to, internally into the next space for me in my heart. And so that was a wonderful experience with Suzanne. And I noticed soon after that dragons actually started showing up outside of guided meditation. And when I live very close to nature, I either am in the forest or in the desert, or I live on the ocean on a sailboat. So I'm very intimate with nature. And so I started feeling them, and less for me. I see a little bit, but mostly it's I feel their presence. I feel the energy. I can feel, it's like through my heart, I can then see them. So it's not through my eyes, it's actually through the feeling that I'm able to see the dragons. So I would start to see them flying next to me as we're traveling in the car through this beautiful landscape. I would see them soaring, through the landscape with me. And I was like, wow, I'm not meditating. Suzanne's not guiding me through a meditation here. I'm actually, having my own experience with dragons and with nature, and the combination of the two for me, like, are just, married. I see dragons a lot in nature now. But that was a wonderful experience, just to feel like the flow of energy of nature and dragons. And then their humor would come in, and they would go and like sit like a hood ornament on the car as we're going down the road. Just imagine this big dragon sitting like a hood ornament on the car, as we're driving down, and I would just burst out laughing, because I'm like, so it helped me a lot with my feelings around security and safety as a nomad. That's an issue that comes up a lot for me personally, is where am I going to be? Where are we going to land? Is it going to be safe? What are we going to experience? And so having that energy of unconditional love, of security, of safety, of humor, really helped me to meet my own stuff, really helped me meet the fears in myself, and do it in a way that wasn't dramatic, or it was very loving way to meet the fears in myself and go, oh, look at that fear, but you know what, you don't have to experience that. You could instead be experiencing the energy of the dragon, which is about trusting and safety and humor, and and so it allowed me to be in my own experience and be present more. So present in my own exploration, in my own adventure in my life, because the dragon was there to protect me and help with that energy. So I don't know, is this making sense? So that's kind of been overall my experience with dragons. They continue to come to me in different forms. I now have multiple little elemental dragons that kind of like hop around on my desk or on my lap, or just come in for humorous or balancing reasons. I noticed they balance me out a lot, the elementals. And then recently I had a red dragon show up, fiery red dragon kind of show up into my life. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. That'll be interesting to explore what that's like. One of the most powerful things I've experienced of late around dragons was I was lucky enough to be in Sedona over solstice, and I was at a vortex doing a group meditation on actually the moment of the lunar eclipse. It was on the 14th on the morning, and it was so beautiful to be with a community and us all focused, and it was just a beautiful moment. And then all of a sudden I was taken on my dragon, and I was flying through a stargate with hundreds of other dragons and other dragon riders through this stargate. And it was like nothing I've ever experienced before, because I didn't even know that I had a body sitting on a rock in the middle of Sedona. It was like I was so present in that moment, in that experience, that it was so powerful for me. And feeling myself, but also feeling the unity of all the dragons, the unity of all of us, of all the energy of all of us moving together, through this stargate together, was one of the most powerful things that I've ever experienced. And when I came back, I was like, oh, I'm on a rock. I'm sitting, it was kind of a surprise to my system. When I came back into myself, So it's been a journey for me experiencing what that dragon energy is. And a lot of you are so wonderfully creative artistically. You're drawers, you do light language. I haven't really gotten to that aspect of it yet. But I really love seeing everything that you do. And for me, I'm a writer. And you were all talking, I realized that, writing isn't like language, is totally different vibe. It has a different energy, but it's still a creative outlet, right? It's still my creative outlet. And I've recently, just in the last 2 weeks, started writing again. And I hadn't written for about a year. It just didn't feel, I don't know, it didn't feel right. It wasn't, and everyone's like, well, are you going to keep writing? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And it just happened a couple of weeks ago. And the comments I'm getting from people is that, my writing has gotten a lot better, that they really love it, that they really want me to do more, that, they're seeing you've gotten so much better. And I'm like, well, I haven't done anything, to really get too much better. And I realized, as you were all talking, that it's because I'm writing from my heart. I'm coming from a different space now than I was a year ago. What I'm doing is transmitting energy, a different frequency than I was. And as a result, what I'm putting down, has a different energy to it. And I'm sure the words are all strung together a little bit differently, or, however that, but that it is my form of language right now that I am transmitting, that I am being creative with, and it's coming across that it's actually like people are noticing that there is a difference. And I'm writing very vulnerable. I'm writing very much from a space of, oh my goodness, I'm going to put this out there. Okay. And so I feel like that is dragon energy. That is that safety behind me, that feeling like I'm going to be fiery and I'm going to be myself and I'm going to, feel safe in doing this. And so I'm just processing this all right now because it's just coming to me as I'm speaking right now. So thank you. Thank you so much, all of you, for helping me realize that, and that, my creativity, can be, powerful and good, even if it's different from, all the lovely work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart. So I'm just going to put it out there, because this is a platform and it's about time that we leveled up. What is light language? Damien and I have been exploring this. And one of the things you can feel is coming in my throat and clearing it. It's just like, I've been really upfront here because we've defined it. We've tried to define it. We've tried to say what it might be and what it might not be. And it's a massive load of energy coming up through even right now to do this. That light energy, everything is energy, yeah. It's not even light, it's just vibration, it's just frequency, it's quantum particles. In fact, to be honest, we don't even know what it is, because most of the universe, we haven't got a clue what it is. And we just don't know. So whatever it is that's coming that vibrates in a resonant way, for me, when we are that vibration, and it isn't just your heart, Yona, when you went through that portal, it wasn't just your heart vibrating, it was your whole being. Everything started to vibrate, and that's what it does. We go into a sympathetic resonance with Earth and the universe, and then everything opens. All the portals of our body open, and we become the light language, because we are the light language. It's us, it's our bodies, it's our expressions. It doesn't matter whether you are writing a word in whatever your native language is, or your grandfather's language, or one that you're learning in school, or something that's coming through you and you haven't got a clue what it is, or you're playing an instrument, or you're sharing this energy that's coming from the sun and you haven't got a clue what it is. We're vibrating love. We're vibrating love, and that's it. Everything else is the play. Like for me, the dragons are our assistants, and they're just here to assist us. But we, human beings, you and me, and all these wonderful people here, we are like vibrating instruments of incredible potential. We don't know what it is, and to say that your word isn't a light language, it's like, well, I don't know what that really means anymore. I used to think that I did. I've had so many ideas about what it is, but they still keep getting broken down. Even just the last few days, everything gets broken down, and it's beautiful. So yeah, everyone's going to feel your vibration, of course. We vibrate through everything we do, and the courage, to me, in groups, I mean, I didn't know you were all going to come and grass me up about Dragonscape. That was like, it sounds like it was a ruse. It's really funny because it's just like the last stop. I had to be very humble to listen to this. I get very embarrassed. That conduit that we have is where we find our, you know, like the meditations, or any meditation, not just anything I might facilitate, or just even sitting in nature and being with the trees, or the sound of water, or you're with other people in Sedona and there's a group energy that creates something magical, or your child runs in and laughs and suddenly you see a rainbow coming out of the mouth, or something beautiful, or your pet starts talking to you, I don't know. This is how we're not really evolving. It's not really strictly true. It feels like we're evolving, but really what's happening is we just have spent the last few thousand years of being human in a state of perpetual forgetting. And what's happening is the earth, Mother Earth, that we're not separate from, and the universal spirit of God in stars and planetary systems, it moves in us and through us, and we're just starting to realize that. And it's because we're so very programmed and so very human and very resistant, and we kick and scream all the way through the layers. Energies that come, if it's a dragon, it's a dragon. If it's an angel, it's an angel. If it's an extraterrestrial, it's an extraterrestrial. If it's nature, if it's the purity of water, or whatever it is that you have in your experience that's unique to you, that is the beauty of being human. And we can sit in our heart when we have these experiences, and I know how crazy it is for some of you to come and share some of this stuff and know it's going public and how that feels, and expose, we said before we went live, it's like you're exposing our underbelly, we're exposing the vulnerable places, and it feels like you're going up a mountain and you're about to like go over the precipice, and that's what the void is, that's what that void is. With the dragons, when they come out of the void, they're coming out of your purest state of being, because we don't really know what that is. We haven't been available to ourselves, to ourselves, not to anyone else, to allow ourselves to be in the body enough and to feel enough, so that then we can go explode inwards and open up this multidimensional fabric to feeling it as a way of life and a way of being. And this is the magic that we all have, and I hope that today that you've been able to feel it through these incredibly courageous beings who have stepped up and stepped forward and and gone through lots and lots of experiences, you know, and say it's some of it's very, very powerful and very, very strong. The dragon energy is a strong energy, and it's here to catalyze us. If we touch it, it catalyzes us. You can't go back. I was going to share with you just very briefly, I can't remember, it might have been Natalie that inspired it, a very, very short story that I went to Dubai, and I was doing some workshops there and some work in Dubai, and I came across, just through people I meet, and I went to dinner with a businessman and somebody who was a little curious but still quite shut down and wanted some help with his girlfriend. So I was having a working lunch, giving some coaching advice for the girlfriend, and we went for a walk afterwards. And I felt this energy, very, very powerful masculine energy. And I didn't say anything what it was. I didn't know at the time. And it felt like this energy literally just went around his shoulders. And I thought, well, that must be like a big part of something coming back. Anyway, a couple of days later, I get a text message and a phone call like, well, something strange has happened, and I don't really know how to say this because this was not in his sphere of reference, but he'd been visited by a dragon, and the dragon had literally like gone inside of him, jumped inside and started to breathe fire through his body. This is not someone who's had any experience with dragons. Breathe through fire in his body, and he said it was like his heart suddenly went on fire and erupted. That was how he said it. It was like it erupted like a volcano. And it is like we don't share these things because we're really afraid to share what this does. When we're touching, we're afraid of fire. We think we're going to burn when we get like a dragon energy. Maybe we'll come on and talk about this again in another live, all these crazy things that we've got. But it's very transmutational, and it's just a metaphor of the experience that we have. You know, when we hold on to the horns and we get up on the dragon's back and we go off flying, we're with our dragon brothers and sisters. The first time that happened to me, I thought I was gonna like die of pleasure because suddenly I could fly, and I'd always dreamed of flying. And then I became the dragon. So it's not just that we're with the dragons, we have the ability when we let go to actually transmogrify in consciousness and become the dragon, become the experience, become the elemental force, become the planet, become the water. And in that way, we're touching all of these different aspects of life. So to me, dragon weaving, dragon birthing, as Maddie's doing, and dragon dreaming, and whatever dragon loveliness, Kristalla, what your dragonfly dreaming, is that right? I can't remember.
Sorry?
What's you? Are you your dragonfly dreaming? What are you?
I'm a dragon keeper.
Dragon keeper. So whatever we're doing, whatever we're creating is absolutely unique and so very beautiful. Oh, you got in a thank you. And it's really, really incredible. It's something that we can only hope to do more of. So thank you for joining us today. I just want to invite any of you guys, if you wanted to share, Mads, if you wanted to put a share code, or if anybody had sent anything else that they'd like to share with us before we go.
Yes, I feel like sharing something. We were talking about creativity and this explosion of infinite creativity. So I studied art, but I hadn't drawn in years, nothing at all. Like I felt completely blocked. And like Suzanne, one day I felt I want an iPad to draw. I didn't know why. I didn't know how to draw digitally, anything. I just felt, oh, I want an iPad to draw. I got it. in February or April. And I'm looking like right now in my iPad, and there are like 100 drawings that I already shared, and I have 900 that are still birthing, like from April to now. And they want me to share this specific experience that I realized happened with my code. So sometimes I have like something like this coming. Okay, wait. Like,
Magdalena, can you flick off your background just for a minute?
yes.
Because then we can see your iPad properly. And I'll also put you on a big screen. If it's okay, I'm just going to spotlight you so everyone can see what you're sharing.
So for example, sometimes just things like this come, just details and not like the full code. And but what I wanted to share, you don't even need to see it, is that sometimes I have just like some lines that come, and then I don't have, like, it's a stream of information and energy that comes and cannot be forced. I cannot force any drawing to draw. Like, and sometimes it will be just a color and I will keep it there. And after a while, I have the inspiration to go back and to keep drawing. So all of these codes are like not finished yet, but they come in perfect timing always, and there is no way I can force them whatsoever. And this is like what I discovered, because I was like, why do I keep drawing new code if I have like hundreds that are not finished? And then I start seeing the patterns and how sometimes one code is part of another one. But I don't know any of this. I just know it in the moment, you know? And I realized that something is birthing, and it's like so beautiful that this is so pure that my ego is gone. It's not there. My ego is not, oh, this is so beautiful. Look what I've done. It could be better. Like, the ego is not there. It's not even there. It's like, it feels like a gift. It's a gift. It comes and it's a gift. And sometimes when we are rose petal, sometimes when we are drawing, sometimes I feel all of this bliss. Sometimes I feel so triggered and anxious, and like, it's so beautiful, like how the codes and the energy, because they have to come through us, because like we are the ones that have our hands to draw them. The energy is literally coming through us. So if there's something there that is like, you're gonna feel it and you're going to experience it while you are drawing. And then there's the whole process of sharing, you know, and when to share. Like, I cannot decide, oh, I want to share a code today. Like, I have nothing to do with it. Like, I cannot, it doesn't happen. Like, even if you try to force it, your ego wants to force it. Like, I don't know, but there will something will happen and it will not be shared until it's time, you know? And it's this beautiful thing where, like, I draw infinite codes that have nothing to do with each other. Like, you could think that it was another person drawing because it has nothing to do with the previous ones. And it's this, again, surrendering to the creativity and to the moment, and like to be in the present moment where we are drawing, and your ego and your mind doesn't have to think, what is this, why am I drawing this, what is this code gonna do in the future, you know? Like, there's no need for any projection besides the experience that we are having in the moment. And and your light language might sound completely different than the one I channel. Like sometimes we channel and sometimes it's like sentences, you know, it's so different. So it's like this surrendering, so kind of letting go, and at the same time embracing all of it. So whatever it is, it can be a line, it can be whatever, it can be the weirdest sound. And it's just, we just kind of surrender and just allow, you know, we just keep surrendering and allowing it. And sometimes it feels more familiar, sometimes it feels so weird that you question your whole existence, but you just keep surrendering to it more and more. So the
It's really lovely, that, Madeline, as well, because the time, you know, about the codes, I think that's really helpful for people, that because even if you're doing it on paper, and literally I used to have, when before I started digitally, I used to do it on paper and the paper would be all over my room. It was crazy. It was like drawing these crazy diagrams and swirls that I thought might have something to do with water or this ocean or that ocean. And then suddenly I had like all the oceans and different seas coming, and then it was the rivers. Oh, and then it was the aquifers. And it was just relentlessly coming. I had no idea whatsoever about how to get them out, what they were for, why this was happening, why my fingers would feel like they were going to fall off my hands, or I were, like you say, making crazy noises. I'd be rocking while I was doing it, and I thought I'm having some kind of nervous breakdown because I hadn't really let that side out yet. I wasn't really letting it out. So consequently, because I was shoving it in, my body had malfunctioned sometimes. And it's like that. We get codes that are back to front. So I often have that. I birthed all of the supporting codes for the Sword of Unity before the Sword of Unity, but then some of them have come in after, and then they attach to the codes that I did before, but they were already there. But it's us that are maturing them, because it's reliant on us, it's reliant on the vessel. So like you say, it's a ride when you start doing this, and you're not doing it from the ego, because your body feels everything that you're bringing through. And that's why it's a healing, I think, as well. We're just learning like this new, super rich. It's like, you know, when people talk about the Renaissance, it was like a massive kind of period in art history where creativity sprouted. To me, we're going to hit another renaissance, and it's a renaissance of soul. It's a renaissance of the unexplained. Like, we've just got to like let it go, man, you know. And if we like start, like the hand starts making this crazy drawing, and even now I do stuff on paper all the time. I'm always doing stuff. The creativity never stops. And to be too ashamed to share this little scribble, we've got to get over ourselves. We so just need to get over it, because if that scribble wants to be shown, it'll find a way to be shown. You know, it will just come out. And if it doesn't come out through you, it'll just come out through somebody else, because it's actually nothing to do with me or you. It's to do with living, and you know, the entity of the planet, the entity of the creation that we're in is expressing. And we're just, if we allow ourselves to be open, potentially to become the vessels. It'll be music, or it'll be a poem, or it'll be a piece of writing, or a story, or dance. I mean, there's this beautiful girl that does hula hoop stuff that when I see her doing that, my heart just explodes. And dancing and all the glorious, Ernestine with guitar, like all the glory. I've got this friend that plays the harp, and it's like the essence of flowers. And oh my God, I spend my whole life crying in reverence. And to me, this is what our lives can be, as we walk and open humbly. So the codes is just part of it. The creation's part of it. All of the tears and the, oh my God, all of the struggle that we have as well, and like recognizing ourselves and meeting ourselves coming as well. Like we still have stuff, I still have loads of stuff that still comes up, and we all do, and we all will, because we're in the whole collective body. There isn't any kind of like, I'm all right, Jack, I'm done now, and I'm evolved, and I am authentic, and I am whatever pontification I want to give myself about being conscious, because it'll just, as soon as you sort of go in the pure energy and the really, really strong energy, it just strips all your shit out and shows you what you've got there. And so you just get used to it, because you're wearing it on your t-shirt anyway. Even if you think you're not, it's available for anyone that can feel. So it's just our own kind of denial of our multidimensionality and all the stuff that we're broadcasting all the time unconsciously. We're just coming to it, and the dragons for me have been like they saved my life, really, in so many ways. And I just, like everyone else's story here, you know, it was, for me, it came in a meditation. It came as I was doing some healing training, and it wasn't a big dragon, it was tiny little green dragons, and they were playful. And at the time I was so injured, so my inner child was so suppressed, it hadn't really come out because I was denying it. It was the beginning of the whispers of that seeding. It couldn't quite get there, but they were the ones that put the seeds in, and then that opened to nature. And it was the nature dragons, it was the elemental dragons that brought me back into touch with Gaia, with Earth, and then my earth body, and then my womb, and then my cells, and then my heart could open. So then, only then, when I was connected to the earth, could this heart start to just begin its journey. I thought, some days I'd have gone, oh yeah, I'm really fully conscious. I was not. I was still stuck in my pain body, believing that I was attached to being conscious. And that's it. We've just got to let go of all of that shit, because it doesn't matter where we're at. We meet each other from this place, just of the centre, and breathe into it in the best way that we can be. Whether you believe in dragons or not, or you've ever experienced them, or you're watching this and you're thinking this is a right bunch of like nutters, it's okay. It's okay, because I can sit here and be that nutter with you, and I can laugh at myself, and I can be with whatever you are and wherever you're at, and it's beautiful too. And that's the healing of the world that we are. That's the rise of the divine feminine, not being a woman or being a man. It's the feminine grace of witness and presence and creation. To me, dragons, that's what they are embracing and bringing to us. It's just the most beautiful unstitching that you could have written for yourself. We all wrote our beautiful stories. So today I just want to thank everybody who has been watching, who has come and gone, who has seeded in, who comes and watches the replay, who touches any type of work like this, not just with dragon consciousness, but with any type of just having presence to come towards yourself and open, to take the onion skin. Somebody said it today, and I know I heard it, to take the skins away in your own way. And the compassion that we have for one another, sometimes we can't be compassionate, we're just in a loop or a program, but then we don't blame ourselves, and then we don't blame someone else, and then we can just be with that and be happy with it, because it's then shown to us. It's shown, our programs are getting shown to us, and this is such a beautiful gift. So thank you, all of you, for sharing rawly, vulnerably, authentically, for showing up here, for being consistent, and for everybody else who's on that journey too. God bless you all, whatever you do. And may this passage in our 2021 be like the flower that erupts in a million colours. Na isha ha I katushata gali inta ho in katana untiana ha ila ika tu prian boko handa itoha estar o hiantar o hatria tush bria tok ish anta ingt on ingt ash dari indra ish da 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 teta tunda ika teka shakun aina tak in kata ish anda da da ikara era uyana ha shahia mahala tu tera ale ishta ela tera untaina ha. Blessings, Mother Goddess, Earth, Father, Sky, Universe, all that we are, all that we don't know, can't know. Let's embrace it all.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you.